Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com with, I think, some cats running around in the back or all over the place. Here with random reviews from the Overflow room. I only have two because one is a box set at the moment, and the box is devoted to Yuri Temirkanov, this edition, historical Russian archives of all kinds of stuff that he did. And it's really kind of fun. It's fun to have these old Russian recordings before he went west and did all kinds of stuff, which is like largely out of print, of course. I first got to hear Temirkanov because he did that spectacular Rachmaninoff Second Symphony with the Royal Philharmonic, and it was on EMI, and they were ignoring it because Andrei Previn in the London Symphony was the one that everybody was recommending. You know, the penguin guy jumping up and down all over it, and it was as if Temirkanov never existed, and I don't even know why EMI made the recording, but they did, and it was better. It was better, and no one ever said a word about it. I was like, you know. Then he jumped to RCA, and he did all kinds of stuff. He's a kind of curious conductor, I have to say. He's made some good recordings, some wonderful ones in St. Petersburg, Shostakovich, and some other stuff. The problem I had with Temirkanov is that when you see him live, he does what a lot of Russian conductors do, and that is he cuts the living daylights out of things. I mean, he did Shostakovich's Seventh. It took like 15 minutes. He just made cuts everywhere. And Rachmaninoff's Second Symphony, oh my God, the finale, it went that was the finale. I mean, you know, what was that, like 8 seconds? It really disturbed me because when he made the recording, re-recorded the Second Symphony, it was absolutely note complete. So if you could do it note complete on records, you should do it that way in concert, I believe, or get to know the work that way. And I had a very funny conversation with the head of RCA, whose name in those days was Gunter Hensler, not to be confused with Hensler Classics. It was a different Gunter Hensler. And he showed up, you know, and I knew him from various, you know, record events and things. And he said, did you enjoy it? And I said, oh yeah, I enjoyed it. And he said, well, he's recording it for us. And I said, oh, that's good. Is he going to do it with the cuts? And he looked at me quizzically and said, cuts? What cuts? I just said, okay, thank you very much. So here's the box. Let me tell you what's in it. It's you know, Melodia. So you get what you get, but this was reissued on Brilliant Classics. These are live recordings made between 1966 and 1985, right? Yes, 1985, good. You get Tchaikovsky, Romeo and Juliet, and the Potatique Symphony, Shostakovich 1 and 5, Shostakovich 13, Bobby Yar with Shchedrin Chimes, Concerto for Orchestra No. 2, Prokofiev Symphony No. 1, Romeo and Juliet Ballet Suites, Lieutenant Kije, the suite, Shchedrin Suite from the opera Not Love Alone, Khachaturian Symphony No. 2, The Bell, was that the attack of the Avon lady, bum, bum, you know. And then we've got Scriabin, the Poème d'Extase, sweaty. Rachmaninoff, Symphony No. 2, yay! I still think his Royal Phil is better because the sound is better, of course. Ibert, Paris, Symphonic Suite. Beethoven 8, Coriolan Overture, Rossini Overture to the Barber of Seville, Haydn, London Symphony, Dvorak, New World Symphony, Ravel, the Pavane for a Dead Princess, and the Rhapsody Espagnole, Sibelius, Symphony No. 2, and Britain's Young Person's Guide to the Orchestra, and last but not least, Debussy, La Mer, the Petite Suite, and the Ionescu Romanian Rhapsody No. 1. Now, is this all great stuff? No. Is it all good stuff? Primarily. Is it like, well, it's Russian. It's Russian, you know, and it's Temirkanov when he was young and doing his thing. So it's fun to have. Absolutely fun to have, and I am hanging on to it. It goes into the Overflow room. Next, Telemann. And with Telemann, that's going to conclude this series. I don't have a lot of Telemann here, actually, because Telemann is a recent acquisition, because frankly, discographically speaking, his music was largely ignored. Even in the period instrument, you know, movement, they did some suites and they did a couple of things, which you'll see here. But the big stuff, those big editions that CPO did of like the Wind Concerti and whatnot, those are all rather recent. And it's really great to have this stuff. It really is fun. We've got, first of all, some Telemann suites on Naxos with the Northern Chamber Orchestra under Nicholas Ward. We have Les Changeantes. Yes, the changeable. It has movements called like Les Scaramouches, La Plaisanterie, and a hornpipe hornpipe in English. I mean, Telemann was even more than Bach or Handel, the ultimate synthesizer, taking, snatches of things from every country in the universe in the Baroque era and sticking them together. And he was very good at it. It's very enjoyable, so much better than you think it's going to be, because he has a reputation of being just like, totally prolific and crazy, but not terribly interesting. So we have the suite Les Nations Anciennes et Modernes, the nations, ancient and modern. So we've got, it's just so much fun. The Germans, ancient, the Germans, modern. The Swedish, ancient, the Swedish, modern. The Danish, ancient, the Danish, modern. And then old ladies. That's the end. Les vieilles femmes. Oh boy. And then a suite in D major that's just called suite in D major, but it has a réjouissance, as does like the Royal Fireworks music by Handel, and a carillon. And it's just fun. Fun music. Great stuff. His suites are great. Then we've got Tafelmusik, which we've talked about before. This is the Goebel Musica Antigua Köln recording separately, because it's in the big Musica Antigua Köln box. So this thing got bumped out to the overflow room. We don't have to go into Tafelmusik in any great detail. As you know, it is in 3 productions. Each production gives you an overture, which is the overture in a suite, and then a quartet, and a concerto, and a trio, and a solo, and a conclusion. Nifty stuff. Finally, last but not least, we have the Paris Quartets. This is the other big instrumental piece by Telemann besides Tafelmusik that sort of survived and the people started doing, and it was picked up by the period instrument folks because it's wonderful. It's 12 works, at least. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, there we have them. And they're really kind of cool. They're very cool. They consist of multi-movement pieces, anywhere from, let's see, we've got 3 movements here, to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 movements. They're kind of like suite-like. Some of them have dance movements. Some of them are sonatas, which do not have dance movements. They are not quartets in the traditional sense. Quartets meaning something for 4 people. They're quartets in that they're in 4 parts. But those parts are played variously by a flute, violin, a viol, either a viola da gamba or a bass viol, a cello, and the continuo, the harpsichord, and sometimes in here, let's see, there is a theorbo, also a guitar-like object. And these recordings are on Channel Classics, featuring Florilegium. They're marvelous performances, but the Paris Quartets have been done quite a bit since the period instrument movement took hold, because they really are delightful pieces, typical Telemann, but they're actually a little more serious than some of those suites I mentioned with their wacky other movements and things like that. I mean, you do have beautiful pieces and some amusing ones like Distrait, Distracted. There's one, and some other things like that. Let's see, there's a Réjouissance here, and Gracieusement. Yes, of course, you have to be gracieuse, and lots of movements marked gay or gaiement. Like, it's nice. Nice music, fun music, and very, very enjoyable. And so those, they're on 3 separate discs here because they take up a bit of time. They're generous musically. Telemann was like Handel. He was very, very generous and in abundance and filling up his works with lots and lots of music. So there you are, my friends. More random reviews from the Overflow rooms. And when we come back, get ready. The big T is coming. Tchaikovsky. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me, and take care.